17-year-old Alexis Murphy was outgoing, had a passion for dancing and volleyball, and, like many girls her age, was glued to her mobile phone. Alexis Murphy was enthusiastically getting ready for her last year of high school when she disappeared without a trace on her way to the hair salon. These would be the last images of Alexis alive. What happened to her, and why would anyone want to hurt her? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. On Saturday, August 3, 2013, 17-year-old Alexis Murphy grabbed her father's vehicle in order to go to Lynchburg from their residence in Shipman, which is located in the state of Virginia, United States. She was about to have her senior photos taken, and in preparation for them, she wanted to get some hair extensions so that she could have her hair styled appropriately for the shots. On the 3rd of August, just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Alexis set off on the route to Lynchburg, which was around 34 miles away. Alexis was required to be back in her house before the midnight hour per her curfew. She was never even a minute late. Therefore, when her grandmother realized that she hadn't returned, she called Alexis's mother, Laura Murphy, to inform her that Alexis had not returned since she left for Lynchburg. It was so out of character for Alexis to miss her curfew that she immediately got in touch with Alexis's father, Troy Brown. Concerned for his daughter Alexis, her father immediately called the police. An extensive search was conducted, and it included not only family and friends but also volunteers, law enforcement, and the FBI. A helicopter had been searching the area for any indication of Alexis and the vehicle she was driving, but there was no sign of either. After 3 days of searching, the vehicle Alexis was driving was discovered parked in a movie theater in Charlottesville. This location was more than 45 miles away from the location where Alexis was last seen. Police searched the area around and thoroughly searched inside the vehicle for anything that could help them find Alexis, but there was nothing discovered that would help authorities locate Alexis. They were able to get their hands on the CCTV video from the shopping center's movie theater. At around 10:30 p.m. on August 4, Troy's vehicle can be seen on the surveillance camera pulling into the parking lot of the local movie theater. That was the day after Alexis was last seen or heard from by her family. The video was of such bad quality that it was impossible to tell who was at the wheel of the vehicle. The authorities investigated many spots along the road from Shipman to Lynchburg and determined that Alexis had made a stop at the Liberty gas station in Livingston on August 3. Alexis could be seen entering the service station and making a purchase on surveillance video that was retrieved from there. The video showed nothing that was out of the norm or unusual. It seemed as if she was alone herself, and she did appear to be afraid of anything or in distress. When Alexis was entering the service station, the surveillance film showed a guy holding the door open for her. Although it did not seem that they had any conversation, the police were nevertheless interested in speaking to the individual who was seen in the surveillance tape in case he had any information. Because the man's neck was covered with a tattoo of Daffy Duck, which was instantly recognizable, it was not difficult to locate him. The surveillance footage showed him driving a Chevrolet Suburban that was covered in camouflage. After tracing Alexis's phone, the FBI discovered that it had signaled a cell tower that was just 1 mile away from the gas station. The FBI and local law enforcement traveled to the specified location, where they discovered an abandoned property. The land was hidden from view by a substantial amount of greenery despite the fact that it was located along Route 29 and next to the main roadway. During the course of their investigation of the home and the surrounding terrain, the police discovered a camouflaged Chevrolet Suburban and were afterwards met by a guy named Randy Taylor. The law enforcement official suspected that Randy was the same guy who appeared in the CCTV film from the service station. He was easily recognizable due to the neck tattoo. Randy acted in a way that was helpful to the police. They were welcomed into his camper at his invitation. When the police were searching the inside of the camper, they discovered a fingernail, a long black hair, and a diamond stud earring. They were under the impression that Alexis was the owner of these items, so they questioned Randy about her whereabouts and he said that he had not seen her. The objects that were discovered were taken by the police and sent to the lab for DNA testing. The DNA found in swabs collected from the hair, fingernail, and diamond stud earring matched up perfectly to Alexis. Further investigation was conducted by the police, during which they viewed security video from the service station from a variety of viewpoints and interviewed with individuals who were there at the time. On the video, we can see Randy's vehicle traveling north, followed by Troy's vehicle, which Alexis was driving at the time, following closely after Randy's vehicle. The evidence that Randy and Alexis did in fact communicate with one another was uncovered by the authorities when they questioned other customers at the service station on the day in question. They observed Alexis and Randy have a quick conversation. There were a few individuals who worked at the gas station who were familiar with Randy. They would observe him simply sitting in his vehicle, looking out the window at the people around him. In addition, an employee at a porn shop reported to the police that Randy had been in their establishment around 45 minutes before he went to the service station. 2 adult videos were among the purchases he made. The vehicle Alexis was driving was discovered just 2 miles away from the porn shop Randy visited. When the police examined Randy's campsite, they discovered further evidence. They recovered the shirt Alexis was wearing, as well as her hair extensions and artificial eyelashes. The back of the shirt was stained with blood from Alexis. The broken pieces of her phone were discovered by the police 15 feet away from his campsite. After conducting more searches on his property, it was discovered that he had a scrapbook with pornographic photos in it. Faces of women who lived in the neighborhood were printed out, cut out, and pasted over photographs of naked women. Randy denied knowing Alexis when officers questioned him about his familiarity with Alexis. Later on, however, when confronted with the DNA evidence that the police had obtained, he admitted that she had been at his camper on August 3 at the time in question. Randy allegedly informed the authorities that he had met Alexis 1 month earlier at the car company where he worked. According to him, she spoke to him about using marijuana when they ran into one another at the gas station. He said that, after he made it clear that he was interested in some, she informed him that she knew someone who may be of assistance. As soon as they drove away from the gas station, Alexis proceeded to Randy's home with a guy who Randy described as being black and having dreadlocks. Randy claims that Alexis did not use any illegal substances, such as alcohol or narcotics, while they were inside his camper. After some time, he claimed that everybody got in their vehicles and departed, with Alexis and the guy going their own ways. He claimed to the police that he was unaware of her whereabouts following that encounter. The guy Randy described as being with Alexis was questioned by the police. On that particular day, he was in Alabama with his father. Randy was taken into custody by the police and charged with kidnapping. Randy was eventually charged with murder, despite the fact that Alexis had not been located. The materials and blood that were located on Alexis's possessions at his house led the police to assume that he had been involved in a violent confrontation with Alexis at some point. They were under the impression that sexual motivation was behind the assault. Randy entered a plea of not guilty. After being found guilty of first-degree murder and kidnapping with the purpose to defile, he was given 2 life terms in prison. In spite of the fact that Randy maintained his innocence throughout the whole of the trial, he expressed interest in striking a plea bargain when he realized he could have to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Randy promised the prosecutors that he would disclose the location of Alexis's remains in return for the sentence being reduced from life in prison to 20 years in prison. The proposition was brought to the attention of Alexis's family. In spite of their urgency to find out where Alexis was, they were adamant that Randy not be granted an early release from jail so that he might continue his violent behavior and do harm to others. More than 7 years after Alexis Murphy went missing, the 17-year-old's body was discovered in Nelson County.
A search that started in August 2013 is finally over. 17-year-old Alexis Murphy was last seen at a gas station in Livingston, and more than 7 years later, we now know where her body was found. Investigators saying they located the remains in early December on private property near Stagebridge Road in Livingston. The medical examiner confirmed a couple weeks ago that it was, in fact, Alexis. Nelson County Sheriff David Hill wouldn't go into much detail about these latest developments or why it took so long to find Alexis, simply telling us investigations like this involve many different factors and things to analyze. Despite the body not being found until now, Randy Taylor was charged with her murder and is currently serving 2 life sentences in prison. Sheriff Hill assures us the case is now closed. The focus now is on helping her family.
That promise was made to bring her home, and it's been fulfilled.
In a statement, the family says while we have been grieving the loss of Alexis since 2013, we remained hopeful that she would be found alive and well. We were blessed to have loved her for 17 years, and her memory will continue to live on through us all.
What happened to Alexis was an awful tragedy. She was just starting her life when she was met by an evil that decided to end her life. My condolences to her friends and family. She should still be here. May you find some way to heal. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.